Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the apostle elders of Great Millstone, and salutations to you, Akim, out there laboring and pushing this truth and sincerity. And as you can see on the screen, it says Russia and NATO square off over Black Sea tensions, showing that we're in the midst of World War III taking place and prophecy being fulfilled, where Russia, along with all of its allied nations like the BRIC nations, pretty much getting ready to engage in World War III with the U.S. and NATO. So this is Habakkuk chapter 2 verse 1. I will stand upon my watch and set me upon the tower, and will watch to see what he will say unto me, and I shall answer when I am and what I shall answer when I am reproved. And the Lord Yahweh answered me and said, Write the vision and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry. Alright, so, we're in the time of pretty much Russia going against NATO and ultimately the U.S. So this is Ezekiel chapter 38 verse 1. And the word of the Lord Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and prophesy against him. Now, Gog and Magog was originally the land of Japheth, but now it's inhabited by Edomites, and you can know that it's also called the land of Russia today. And say, Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, Behold, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and I will bring thee, and I will turn thee back, and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth, and all thine army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords. So that's Russia, getting their military in preparation, to go against NATO and the EU and the United States. Persia, Ethiopia, and Libya with them, all of them with shield and helmet. Gomar and all his bands, the house of Togarma of the north quarters and all his bands, and many people with thee. Be thou prepared, and prepare for thyself, thou and all thy company that are assembled unto thee, and be thou a guard unto them. Alright, so Russia is mainly protecting its borders, as well as the land of Syria and Iran as well, from United States and NATO infiltration, which is fulfilling prophecy as we speak. After many days shalt thou be visited, in the latter years thou shalt come into the land that is brought back from the sword, and is gathered out of many people against the mountains of Israel, which have been always waste, but it is brought forth out of the nations, and they shall dwell safely, all of them. Thou shalt ascend and come like a storm, thou shalt be like a cloud to cover the land, thou and all thy bands, and many people with thee. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, it shall also come to pass that at the same time shall things come into thy mind, and thou shalt think an evil thought, and thou shalt say, I will go up to the land of unwalled villages, I will go to them that are at rest, that dwell safely, all of them dwelling without walls, and having neither bars nor gates. And America is known as that land of all unwalled villages, to take a spoil and to take a prey, to turn thine hand upon the desolate places that are now inhabited. and upon the people that are gathered out of the nations which have gotten cattle and goods that dwell in the midst of the land. So, you know, right now you're seeing, you know, the U.S. and, Russian stationing troops, stationing, their military, Russia, the U.S. got Navy ships and air drones around Romania and certain borders around Russian territory. So I'm going to just play this video clip here. Alright, it says a third international flashpoint is emerging. First the South China Sea, then the Baltic. Now it's NATO versus Russia in the Black Sea. NATO troops are marching into Romania. NATO ships are applying the waterways. NATO combat jets are on their way. Now Russia's getting nervous. 3 years after its annexation of the Ukrainian Crimea territory, and 9 years after the invasion of Georgia, Moscow has been making it obvious it wants NATO, and especially the Americans, out. Russia says it is examining all options to counter NATO's buildup. NATO says the same. It's becoming an increasingly murky situation. The weave of international treaties and interest in the Balkans at the turn of the 20th century produced the spark that triggered World War I. Once again, and that will be, the first war that the scriptures mention as well. This is Revelations chapter 8, verse 13. And I beheld and heard an angel flying through the midst of heaven, saying with a loud voice, Woe, woe, woe to the inhabitants of the earth by reason of the other voices of the trumpet of the three angels which are yet to sound. So we already had World War I, World War II, and we're also in the midst of World War III taking place. Because whenever you see the word woe, it goes into destruction, calamity. And this World War III is about to be fought with nuclear capability. So this isn't going to be like any other war fought as far as with troops stationed on the ground, but it's going to be a nuclear war, which is going to produce a nuclear holocaust to where this so-called white man Esau's kingdom being brought down. Okay, this is Revelation chapter 11 verse 14. The second woe is past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly. And the seventh angel sounded, and there were great voices in heaven saying, The kingdoms of this world are become the kingdoms of our Lord, and of his anointed, and he shall reign forever and ever. So that's what all of this is leading up to, is for Esau's kingdom to be brought to destruction, and for our Lord Yahweh Shai to reign on the earth. All right, says where did I leave off? All right, says once again, it is proving its potential as an international flashpoint. NATO's newest southeastern members are perceived as a weak underbelly to the alliance. Romania, which borders the troubled Ukraine, has been one of a few to actively seek an enlarged NATO military presence. Bulgaria is somewhat more reluctant. Its political and business leaders are racked by internal dissent over the decision to impose sanctions against Russia following the annexation of Crimea. Says related, Beijing set to expand its South China Sea footprint. Okay. Georgia, which was crushed by Russian forces in 2008, remains a destabilizing element. Rebuilding its armed forces, infrastructure, and independence is an ongoing diplomatic balancing act. But the biggest uncertainty in the region is Turkey, an extreme clampdown on democratic institutions by President Recep Tayyip Erdogan after an attempted coup last year has led to a significant cooling in relations with Europe and energetic attempts by Moscow to woo it away from the European alliance and union. Alright. Says military posturing. NATO conducted a major naval exercise in the Black Sea last month, dubbed Black Shield 2017. IT came with a fresh commitment to strengthen the U.S.-European alliance presence in the region, just days after an aggressive game of chicken in the Black Sea between two Russian Su-24 fighter bombers and the destroyer USS Porter. Alright, so this is where NATO has Navy fleets around certain territories. It says a repositioning of NATO military assets has openly been declared as a response to a deteriorated security situation. Now Russia has responded in kind. It's just launched major military exercises in and around the annexed Crimean Peninsula in response to terrorists and regular forces threats. NATO simulated defending against sea and air attack. The Russians practiced deploying invasion forces by air and sea. In the case of NATO's Black Shield, the aim was to demonstrate the alliance was committed to its East European members and could quickly present a cohesive fighting unit. The United States, Spain, and Canada each sent a ship to join vessels from Bulgaria, Turkey, and Romania to practice working together in the stress of combat. Not such an easy thing to do between equipment of such variety. The different languages of the nations involved in their different military training. Now a U.S. assault ship, the USS Carter Hall, is testing how well its 2,200 Marines can fight alongside Romanian forces. Russia is not amused, stating the maneuvers threaten our interests and security. 3 Russian paratroop brigades totaling 2,500 men, aircraft, and the Black Sea Fleet began war games in Crimea on Monday. It says, for the first time in the Russian Army's history, the airborne forces, 3 large units, were simultaneously alerted as part of the drills and partly redeployed to Crimea with weapons and equipment. Airborne Force Commander Colonel General, I'm not even going to pronounce that fucking name, told state media organization TASS. The exercise demonstrated the use of the airborne forces as rapid reaction forces to solve crises in various regions of the world, he said. Okay. Um, Forward defense. NATO has been steadily redeploying its forces in the past few years, primarily to ease the growing fears of its Eastern European members and allies. Troops, tanks, helicopters, and fighters have been positioned in the Baltic states of Poland, Latvia, and Lithuania to counterbalance increasingly aggressive Russian maneuvers over the strategic sea. Norway and Sweden have gone so far as to expand conscription and initiate emergency spending programs for their defense forces. But the Black Sea region has also quietly been undergoing reinforcement. A multinational force of NATO troops has been stationed in the Romanian city of Craiova. NATO ships have been posting more frequent visits to Romanian and Bulgarian ports, as well as conducting more intensive war games. And the United Kingdom now says it will station a handful of its Typhoon fighter aircraft in Romania later this year to bolster its air defenses. Alright. It says, but the most controversial element is the establishment of a NATO missile defense shield outpost in Romania's Deveselo district in 2016. This is a facility capable of shooting down ballistic missiles. NATO has assured Russia the shield is intended to protect Europe against missiles launched from the Middle East. Russia sees it as both a physical and diplomatic threat to its own interests. Alright. I think we need strategic patience, NATO Secretary Jens Stoltenberg told media last month. That was what NATO had during the Cold War, and we need it also in the new security situation. Alright, so, that's pretty much it, So, I've gone through this article, just to, kind of put it out there, as far as World War III taking place. You got I pretty much went through the whole thing, but you guys can check this article out. And that I want to give all praise and glory to Yahweh Bashem Shai. Hopefully this was edifying. We almost out of here. Time of our salvation is, is very close. So, brothers, just keep up the faith and, keep up the work unto the end. And with that, I'll say shalom.